Before we dive into today's reading, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for the love, the comments, the likes, and the incredible energy you bring to the channel every day. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Tonight's reading is a no contact message from your person. I'll be pulling from my tarot deck to tap into how they're currently feeling, how they're viewing you and your connection, and any other key messages that need to come through. So let's get started and tune in to receive a clear and direct message straight from their heart space. Okay, interesting. The first card I'm getting here is the Emperor. This card carries the energy of stability, control, and authority, representing the divine masculine stepping into a pivotal moment of recognition and responsibility. Now, moving into the message itself, we have, I need your help. This feels like a direct and urgent communication from your masculine energy. It's as if they're reaching out, breaking through the silence, asking for your support. The energy here is clear and assertive, almost brutally honest, as if there's no room for pretenses anymore. There's a masculine presence in your energy field who clearly needs help, and this ties into the greater connection you share. It feels like they're starting to acknowledge things about this connection that may have been hidden from them before. This awakening is bringing them to a crucial point in their life, where they are caught in a battle between their mind and heart, where, unfortunately, their mind seems to be taking the lead. If you've been wondering why they've remained silent or distant, it's because they're navigating this inner turmoil, wrestling with their emotions and the weight of this connection. Okay. The energy I'm picking up here also feels influenced by something external. It's as if your person is looking beyond your connection, seeking outside advice or input to help guide them in making a decision. This isn't happening by chance. It's an intentional move on their part. I can sense this back and forth energy where they're torn between following their heart and listening to someone advising them to rely on logic. There's a constant push and pull within them. The moment they try to lay everything out logically, their heart begins to speak, urging them to consider their deeper feelings. But just as they start to listen to their heart, they feel the tug to be more rational again. It's this in-between space they find themselves in, and it directly relates to how they feel about you, divine feminine. It's almost like they're seeking a sign or input on how to move forward, but there's a seriousness to this energy. They may even be questioning the purpose of your connection, trying to make sense of it all. But what stands out most is their desire for brutal honesty. They're craving clarity, and they're determined to figure out the best path forward, even if it's challenging. All right, so I'm hearing that it seems like they might be tapping into a deeper, perhaps more hidden aspect of your connection, something that wasn't immediately obvious before. What's interesting is that the person they're turning to for advice is the complete opposite of you. Your person knows you as someone who operates from a place of deep emotion and heart-centered energy. You're likely very in touch with your feelings, using them as a guiding force to navigate both life and love, and that's something they admire about you. But right now, they're seeking something different. They're looking for a more detached, straightforward perspective, something clear-cut without the emotional depth you offer. It feels like they want input from someone who shares their current mindset. This could be another masculine energy they trust, someone they're close to, and confide in for advice. The energy coming through here feels very detached, but not necessarily in a negative way. It's just that, for some reason, your person feels like this logical, unemotional approach is what they need at this moment. If you're wondering how your person is feeling right now, it seems they're seeking help with something related to you, but they're not looking for emotional guidance. Instead, they're trying to step outside the emotional depth of your connection to approach things more logically. The person they've turned to for advice is someone who aligns with their current mindset and energy. It's clear that this is another masculine energy, perhaps a close friend or family member, someone they trust deeply. What stands out is that they're sharing details about your connection in a way they haven't before, really opening up in a new and personal way. All right, I'm gonna reshuffle and see what comes up here next. Okay, the next card I'm pulling here is the Nine of Swords, which symbolizes mental anguish and worry. So I'm hearing that to whoever this applies to, you might also be experiencing sleepless nights, mirroring the intense emotional state of your masculine energy. There's a strong feeling of emotional, mental, and even sexual repression coming through with this card. Your masculine is deeply affected, and all of this suppressed energy is manifesting as a constant mental battle. They're dealing with an overwhelming amount of thoughts and emotions that they aren't able to fully express or share with you right now. This is also why they're seeking validation or advice from an external source, someone they trust, because their mind just can't find peace. But for your masculine, this goes beyond just overthinking. It's a profound inner struggle that is affecting them on a much deeper level than they can communicate. This is someone who spends a great deal of time with you on their mind, Divine Feminine, but there's also this strong undercurrent of avoidance. It's as if your connection has drifted into a space that feels colder, more distant, like a winter breeze that suddenly replaces the warmth. You might sense them sending you mixed signals. One moment, they're energetically close, almost pulling on your soul, and the next, you can feel them retreating, as though they're putting up walls. The way you've been responding to all of this has completely caught them off guard. If they could truly express themselves, they'd confess they don't know what to expect from you anymore. Any old expectations they clung to have slowly dissolved, like sand slipping through their fingers. During the day, they can push these emotions aside, burying themselves in work or whatever tasks occupy their time. It's almost like they can distract themselves from the emotional weight that's constantly present. But at night, when the world quiets down, their emotions become inescapable. This is when you might feel their energy pulling at you, reaching out in ways they can't during the day. Their mind can't find peace, restless and overwhelmed by the intensity of it all. They can feel your emotions too, as if the intensity of your connection flows back and forth like a tide. It's almost too much for them to handle, like a wave crashing over them, impossible to ignore. It's so easy for them to avoid all of this during the day, but at night, it's a different story. When darkness falls, they're forced to face what's been building inside, and it pulls them into a deeper side of themselves, one they might not be comfortable exploring. This is why they're tempted to take a more logical approach, perhaps even advised by someone close to them, to make sense of what they're feeling. Yet, despite their best efforts, they're struggling. Your person is losing sleep over this, and the connection you share, particularly through the dream state, is a powerful and undeniable link that goes beyond the surface, reaching deep into the subconscious. It's in this space, where the mind quiets and the soul speaks, that they are truly feeling the weight of this connection. And this is coming through really strongly here. When your energy is able to reach them, whether it's during the day or especially at night, even when they're trying to push thoughts of you away, it really highlights just how powerful the energetic bond is between you and this person. There's a lot of mental energy being spent at night, times when they should be resting, but instead, they're consumed by thoughts of you. This seems to be the only time when they are truly confronted by their raw, unfiltered emotions about you. It's deeply connected to the internal battle they're facing between their mind and heart, trying to find some kind of balance between these conflicting energies. This mental and emotional struggle even follows them into the dream state. You might be feeling this too, Divine Feminine. You could be dreaming about your masculine, or perhaps you feel a heaviness in the air as night approaches. Maybe you get sudden thoughts of them, or you're receiving telepathic messages. There's definitely something significant happening between you at night, and it's closely tied to what your masculine is going through internally. They're unconsciously sending this energy your way through the bond you share, reaching out to you in a way that they might not be able to in the physical world. All right, I'm going to shuffle and see what else we can get next. Okay, so the next card here is Two of Swords. This card often represents a mental crossroads, a state of inner conflict and indecision, perfectly reflecting the energy coming through here. All right, what else can I channel about this Divine Feminine? Okay, I'm picking up on some nervous energy. I'm also hearing the words, "Are you nervous too?" Because if you're wondering why your masculine seems to be pulling away or avoiding you at this time, this is the reason. They're starting to feel like your connection has reached a point where they need to create some distance, to distract themselves in some way. The energy surrounding your masculine right now is incredibly stoic, almost as if they're forcing themselves to view everything from a detached, unemotional perspective. This cut and dry approach is their way of coping, and the very fact that they're doing this shows just how deeply emotionally invested they are in you. What's interesting is that they see a lot of similarities between the two of you, especially in how you both express your emotions. Even though on the surface there may be differences in your connection, they feel like, on a deeper level, you're the same person. This similarity is both a blessing and a challenge for them. On one hand, they appreciate the emotional alignment, but on the other, it makes the connection feel incredibly heavy at times, too intense for them to process easily. They're caught between viewing this bond as something powerful yet overwhelming. On the positive side, your person feels like you understand them on a level no one else ever has. You have this remarkable ability to tap into their needs without them having to say a word, and that brings a certain ease to your dynamic. But when you're not on the same page, or when your person is deep in their feelings, you not only pick up on it immediately, but you also act as a mirror to them. They realize that what they're feeling, you're often feeling too. Even if you express it differently, there's always that same underlying energy. You have this way of addressing things that makes it clear you're fully aware of what's happening in your connection, even when they try to downplay or deny it. The two of you can read each other's minds and hearts with almost uncanny accuracy, and that's part of what makes this distance between you so significant. You both feel it deeply. When the thought, "Are you nervous too?" comes up, it's a confirmation that whatever they're feeling, they sense you're feeling it too. The current state of your connection is likely creating unease for both of you. They're trying to approach things logically right now because you both are so similar in how you process emotions and thoughts. Your thoughts drive your actions, and at this moment, it seems like you're both trying to take a more detached, rational approach to the situation. But there's a heavy mirroring energy at play here. So when something isn't being openly communicated, the energy shifts between you. It's as if your attitudes towards each other reflect that unspoken tension. Because of how deeply you understand one another, there's a lot of telepathic communication going on, a lot of mind reading, but with that comes the possibility of assumptions. You're both processing things in almost the same way, which can lead to misunderstandings when things aren't fully expressed. This is why your person wants to know if you're nervous, because they're feeling it too. Both of you seem to be caught in this space where your mind and heart are locked in a battle, and you're not sure whether to lean into logic or love. It's like you're teetering on the edge, going back and forth depending on the energy of your thoughts or what you're sensing from each other in that moment. This connection has an extraordinary level of sensitivity. It doesn't matter if there's distance or what may be happening on the surface. The bond between you is so strong that it becomes almost unbearable during times of no contact. Even in silence, the energy between you is deafening, as if every unsaid word carries its own weight, louder than any conversation could be. It's like trying to ignore the thunder in the distance. You can't help but feel it rumbling beneath the surface. Right now, it feels like one of those moments where your person is having sleepless nights, reaching out to others for advice or clarity. You may be doing the same in your own way. There's this underlying current of nervousness surrounding your connection right now, like the quiet tension before a storm, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. Okay, I'm going to reshuffle now. Let's see what comes through for you. Okay, the Lovers is coming out strong here. This card is all about deep, soulful connections and the choices we make when it comes to love. It represents the duality within your connection, the push and pull, the mirroring of each other's feelings and actions. What's coming through and becoming clear to me right now is that both of you are feeling this intense energy, yet neither of you seems to have the words to fully express what's happening on your respective sides of this bond. Despite the depth of this connection, there's a lot that remains unspoken. You and your masculine are mirroring each other emotionally, and that makes things even more intense, more triggering than a typical connection. If you could both be completely honest, you'd probably admit that you feel misunderstood. There's this energy of wanting to communicate, but not knowing how to truly say what's in your hearts. The emotional weight between you is heavy, and it's as though you're reflecting each other's deepest emotions, but without the clarity you both long for. This is no ordinary connection. It's one that goes beyond the surface, where your silence speaks louder than words. Divine Feminine, you may feel like your masculine has no idea what it's like to walk in your shoes, to experience this connection from your perspective, and how it has shaped your life since coming into the realization of what it truly means. The way your energy is coming through is powerful yet delicate, like a flower that blooms even in the harshest winds. You carry yourself with such grace, embodying a light-hearted energy that tries to rise above the lower vibrations of this connection, even though those deeper, more challenging aspects are still present. This connection pulls from every corner of your being, forcing you to confront things you may not want to see or address. It brings to the surface wounds from your past, whether from childhood or previous relationships, leaving them raw and exposed, with no way to escape the intensity. There are likely moments when you find yourself questioning the entire connection, wondering if it's as real as you once thought. But the truth is, whatever you're feeling, your masculine feels it too. In the same way, they may feel like you don't fully understand what this connection is like for them as the masculine energy. To them, it's as if the universe has placed everything they've ever wanted right in front of them. Yet they still find themselves needing to practice restraint. The way your energy comes through, this person sees you as their greatest weakness. And while this might feel like a burden at times, it's also why they make the choice to distance themselves. They believe that by staying away, they are helping to keep the vibration of your connection high, protecting it from the lower energies that might otherwise pull it down. The masculine energy you're connected to is someone who is fully aware of how deeply you feel about them, divine feminine. They understand the weight of this connection for you, and in some ways, they may even be tempted by the power that comes with that knowledge. This taps into a deeper aspect of their character. They know they have to be careful with you because of the intense bond you share. At times, they may feel drawn to approach you from a lower state, making decisions from a place that's less aligned with their higher self. Being away from you seems to expose their shadow side, and it's almost as if they want you to understand what it's like for them in that space of separation. They're faced with incredibly intense emotions that sometimes push the boundaries of their self-control, feelings that can overwhelm them. There's a very repressed masculine energy coming through here. They don't think you fully realize that when it comes to you, they have to make a conscious choice every day to hold back, to practice restraint. They're doing this because they understand the magnitude of your connection. They know it's something higher, something sacred, and that's why they're treating it with such care. But at the same time, they are still human, still operating within the duality of their masculine vessel, balancing between divinity and their lower state. This inner struggle seems to become even more pronounced during times of separation or when there's no contact between you. It's in these moments that they may seek guidance or advice from other masculine energies. But this isn't just any advice. They turn to those who resonate on a higher level, someone who understands what it's like to walk in their shoes. They believe that if they gave in to their emotions or acted impulsively, they would hinder their own growth in a significant way. This is also why they may feel like this time apart is necessary, because the last time you were together or spoke, the energy you mirrored back to them was incredibly triggering. You have this unique way of holding up a mirror to their actions, and oftentimes they don't like what they see. This really taps into how they process these moments behind the scenes, those private moments when no one is watching. It's as if you're getting a glimpse into what they're dealing with internally, and this might be something you were concerned about at some point. There's a shift happening in how they view this connection now, as well as how they hold themselves accountable within it. Right now, they're navigating this experience completely separate from you, but the emotions are still running high, even in the distance. If this resonates with you, it's likely that you're feeling that emotional intensity, even during this separation. Your person, however, is trying to take a step back. They're working to approach things differently. They're making an effort not to match the emotional intensity, but instead are trying to see it all from a more detached perspective. What's also significant is that they're doing something that feels unfamiliar to them, opening up about your connection and seeking guidance from trusted people around them. And this leads us to the next card here, the Hanged Man. This card represents a shift in perspective, a moment of pause where one is forced to see things differently, perfectly aligning with the energy I'm picking up here. Oh yeah, for some reason I'm getting the feeling that your presence in their life came as an unexpected shift, something they weren't fully prepared for. It's like you've set a new standard for them through your actions, and they're feeling the impact of it. The way you express your emotions, strong yet composed, without any sense of neediness, has sent a powerful message that speaks volumes. Your energy is calm but undeniable, and in response, this masculine energy is reflecting your approach, trying to bring more logic and strategy into the way they view this connection. What's fascinating is that for a long time, your person didn't see themselves in you. And this is so interesting because you two are, in essence, the same soul, a reflection of each other. But this isn't about them relating to you as a person. It's that they didn't identify with your level of femininity. Every masculine energy holds both masculine and feminine aspects, but how they were raised and taught to view femininity influences how they express this internally and externally, especially in their relationships. You're connected to someone who is becoming emotionally open in ways they didn't expect, and they're now trying to figure out why you, of all people, have this profound effect on them. It's like you flipped their world upside down, forcing them to see themselves in a way they've never had to before, and they're starting to shift their perspective. This is why they're looking at your connection from a new angle, and what they're learning is deeply resonating with them. They're realizing that they're not alone in these feelings, and it's this realization that sets the divine masculine apart from the wounded masculine. They're moving from a place of impulsivity and physical detachment to a space where they are emotionally present. And this shift isn't a reflection of you as a person. I keep sensing that you have a very specific way of mirroring your person, divine feminine. It's like something in your speech, your actions, or even your presence just clicks for them. You're not only reflecting their highest self, but you're also holding up a mirror to their shadow side, the parts of themselves they've been trying to avoid. This is what's being brought to the surface, and now they're seeking a deeper understanding of this dynamic, trying to integrate and heal the wounded feminine energy they've repressed for so long. This healing isn't just happening for them, it's likely helping you as well. You may not even realize it, but this mirroring could be something you're both unconsciously doing together. You've probably dealt with wounded masculine energy in your past, perhaps in the way you assert yourself in love, or the way you've approached relationships when triggered. Now, this season of deep healing is raising the vibration of your connection, but it's not without challenges. The triggers are intense, but you're handling them with such grace and maturity. It feels like you may be in a period of no contact, but this distance feels intentional. This space between you is allowing both of you to face parts of yourselves that you may not have wanted to see. Even though there's physical distance, the emotional bond is undeniable, and you both are realizing that in a connection this profound, there's no real running. Wherever you go, your emotions and thoughts follow. There's no escaping your mind, no running from the subconscious. It's a part of you, and in this connection, it's impossible to outrun that truth. Let me know if this is resonating with you, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's move on to the final tarot card here. All right, I'm going to reshuffle the deck and let's see what comes through for this final message. The card I'm pulling is the Tower. This card represents sudden change, upheaval, and the breaking down of old structures to make way for transformation. It's the kind of energy that disrupts our expectations and forces us to see the bigger picture. What I'm seeing here is that both you and your person have come to a point in your connection where you're realizing that it's not just about love and light. When you first entered this connection, both of you may have imagined a path filled with harmony and ease. But now, reality is setting in, and the journey is proving to be much more complex and challenging than either of you anticipated. Your person, in particular, is feeling the weight of this realization. It's as though they signed up for something that they didn't fully understand at the time, a connection so profound that it's shaking up everything they thought they knew. They're beginning to realize that what they assumed would be smooth and effortless actually requires deep inner work and personal growth. They may have thought that the intensity of your bond would be enough to carry everything forward, but now they see that this journey demands more than just connection. It demands transformation. This is especially challenging for them at this stage of their personal journey, where they feel the pull towards you, divine feminine, but also the fear of being too close. The intensity of your similar energies can be overwhelming for them, making them even more sensitive to the emotions they are trying to process and integrate. This is not the whole story. They are beginning to understand that there's much more at play here. The connection between you is pushing both of you to evolve in ways neither of you expected, and that evolution, while powerful, is not always easy. Whether you're aware of it or not, your masculine is becoming much more accountable for their actions, and they truly hope that you can sense the reasons behind their choices right now. In their heart, they believe they're making the best decision for both you and this connection until the energy clears and everything finds its balance. This connection is unique. You both have always been so attuned to each other, able to read each other's minds with ease. There's no escaping or running from this bond, and it feels like you're both facing yourselves before you can fully face one another. But with this comes distance, confusion, and doubt. Still, what's coming through strongly is that your person wants you to know just how deeply you affect them every day. You're constantly on their mind, even in their dreams. They're losing sleep, seeking guidance from other strong masculine energies to help them tap into higher principles and find balance within this connection. Despite the distance, they're carrying your energy with them, divine feminine, and that link between you both is unbreakable. No matter how much you and your person change or evolve over time, that bond remains solid. This part of the connection can feel deeply uncomfortable, as it ties into that nervousness you both might be feeling. Because you are so similar, it's during these moments when you're called to hold space that you truly long to be close to one another. The distance, the lack of communication, the coldness, it can be painful, especially when all you want is to feel that closeness. But know this, the bond you share is strong, and no matter how things feel in the moment, the connection is permanent and unshakable. This feels like such a beautifully transformative space in your connection, almost like a quiet yet powerful moment of reflection and growth. It's a time where both you and your person are working through deep emotional layers, even if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. The connection remains solid, unbreakable, as you both navigate these energies. This period, though challenging, is bringing you closer to a deeper understanding of yourselves and each other, preparing you for the next phase of your journey together. This feels like a good place to wrap up the reading. You've both been navigating a lot, but remember that your connection is solid, even when things feel uncertain. Take some time to reflect, let the energy settle, and trust the process as it unfolds. I'll see you in the next reading. Until then, take care of yourself and your journey.